The year is 1957. In near darkness, a woman, Joni Callahan, sits at the kitchen table waiting eagerly for her husband to come home. She slowly taps her foot. Tap, 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 tap. The moonlight reveals her face, bruised and battered, as she smokes a cigarette and drinks scotch, drumming her fingers against the half-empty liquor bottle. The clock above the door strikes 9:01 p.m., and in walks Joni's husband, Michael. His smile leaves his face as he sees Joni's bruises. Oddly, she stares at him lovingly, longingly, as he walks right by her without a word, just a grumble under his breath. Tears build in Joni's eyes as she flicks ash off her cigarette and draws a breath of anticipation. Following Michael into the kitchen, she finds it exactly as she left it. The fridge door wide open, all the food on the ground, rotting. Michael looks at her angrily, asks if she did this. Joni smiles coyly, yet proud, as Michael's face reddens. He screams in her face that she isn't right in the head. He slugs her, sending her spinning to her knees, her glass of scotch crashing to the floor. "You ain't right in the head," he repeats. Blood pours down Joni's face as Michael demands that she say something, but she says nothing. Instead, a strange thing happens. She grins oddly, almost sexually, as if she enjoys it. She enjoys being hit. Michael asks her to say it hurts, say it hurts! But Joni dabs some blood off her face and licks it, sighing with relief. The taste soothes her. "Say it hurts," Michael demands. But still, Joni remains silent, basking in the adrenaline. Disgusted with her, Michael rushes out of the kitchen and slams the bedroom door behind him. Slowly, panting, Joni stands. She's still turned on. She calmly, slowly sweeps up the broken glass and the rotting food and throws it all away. In the bedroom, meanwhile, Michael is bawling his eyes out, mumbling for the Lord to forgive him. He begs God to cure his wife of this ailment that's taken her. But Joni just gets another tumbler from the cupboard and pours herself some more scotch. She sits down at the dining table once more and watches the light beneath the bedroom door, waiting for it to go out. It does. Joni turns off the last lights in the apartment, then tiptoes to the bedroom door and leans her ear against it. She hears a loud snore from within. She walks in and sees Michael fast asleep, cuddling his Bible and rosary. She takes them from his hands and puts them in the bedside drawer. Then she settles herself next to Michael. She drapes his arm over her breast and puts her own hand atop his. She smiles that same odd, sexual smile, just as when she got hit. And she closes her eyes, content. A bell in a boxing arena rings like the first round of a fight just ended. 1961. The decor of the apartment has changed with the times, and Joni stands leaned against the dining room table, holding an urn in her hand. The clock above the door strikes 9:02 p.m. and Michael walks in. His smile fades when he sees his wife holding his grandfather's urn, her face and her legs covered in bruises. Suddenly, Joni drops the urn and it breaks open on the floor. Ashes go flying everywhere. Michael charges up to Joni, but stops, fuming. She demands that he hit her, but Michael just shoves his rosary in her face and commands the devil to leave her. Joni spits into the ashes on the ground. Michael looks down at the spit, and he finally slugs his wife across the face. She smiles her almost sexual smile once more and tells him that there ain't no devil here, it's just her. She punches Michael viciously across the jaw. They fight for a few moments, until Michael stops. Blood drips down his mouth, and he tastes it. He really comprehends the taste of it. And a profound change comes over Michael. His rosary slips out of his hand, clatters to the ground, forgotten. An almost sexual smile comes over his face. Joni's mouth puckers. She's been waiting so many long years for this. She shrugs out of her sheer white dress and drops it by her feet. They fight and kiss and fight and kiss, finally jumping atop the dining table which crashes underneath them as they laugh. A bell in a boxing arena rings like the second round of a fight just ended. 1966. Joni gleams with anticipation for Michael to return home. But as the clock strikes 9:03 p.m., she's startled to see two people coming in the door. Michael and his work friend Samuel. Horrified, Joni looks at Michael accusingly, but he avoids her eyes. A half hour later, the three of them sit at dinner, eating totally burnt steaks. Beneath the table, Joni digs a high-heeled pump into Michael's foot, but he quickly pulls back. Joni is dejected and walks out of the dining room as Michael and Samuel small talk about politics. Joni waits submissively in the kitchen until Samuel leaves, and then she looks accusingly at her husband. But again, he avoids her eyes and almost runs out of the room. In the bedroom, they both lie on opposite ends of the bed, staring away from each other. Joni feels Michael reach over her and for a moment is excited, but her excitement fades as he just switches off the light. Michael pretends to sleep, but is faking it, just as upset as Joni. A bell in a boxing arena rings like the third round of a fight just ended. 1970. The clock above the door strikes 9:04 p.m. and Michael walks in, when wham! A sucker punch hits him. Michael grins, turned on, and he and Joni fight it out for several moments, toppling chairs and tables and everything in the room. Later, they make love in the bedroom. Joni, whose right eye is so bruised it can't even open, stares ravenously at Michael's crotch. Her shadow on the wall unclasps his belt and tosses it to the side. A bell in a boxing arena rings like the fourth round of a fight just ended. 1974. The clock above the door strikes 9:05 p.m. and Michael walks in. In the bedroom, he and Joni fight until Michael sees a large spot of blood expanding from her crotch area. Rivers of red pour down her bare legs and she passes out as Michael catches her. Michael buys a juice from the hospital vending machine and walks to Joni's room. Her hands reveal scabbed up nail marks on her palms. She's been cutting her own skin to feel the rush. Michael gives Joni the juice and she tells him the doctor told her she can't have kids. Michael tells her that it might be best if people like them move on after they died, leaving no one behind. Joni smiles and clamps her nails down on Michael's arm, drawing some blood. She tells him, "We'll always have us." Michael agrees and curls up next to Joni. He clamps down on her earlobe, and she arches her back in ecstasy. A bell in a boxing arena rings like the fifth round of a fight just ended. 1979. The clock above the door strikes 9:06 p.m. and Michael enters. He sees Joni in front of the coat closet, her arm in a sling. Michael raises an eyebrow questioningly. Joni smiles and takes off the sling. She wraps it around Michael's neck to choke him. He backhands her across the face. Later that night, Joni watches Michael, who's sitting in bed, coughing his lungs out. He's very sick. A bell in a boxing arena rings like the sixth round of a fight just ended. 1983. Joni jumps rope in the apartment when, at 9:07 p.m., Michael enters. She turns to see him and he starts coughing again. She hugs him tightly. That night, Michael lies sick in bed. Joni curls up next to him. She bites down on his earlobe and he arches his back in ecstasy. A bell in a boxing arena rings like the seventh round of a fight just ended. 1988. The apartment is very old and dusty now. The clock strikes 9:08 p.m. and Michael walks in. Joni and Michael fight very slowly, very tiredly, quite old to still be doing this. A bell in a boxing arena rings like the eighth round of a fight just ended. 1992. A different clock strikes 9:09 p.m. The clock is sitting above a casket on a podium. Atop the casket is a black and white photo of Michael, with giant wreaths and bouquets surrounding it. Joni is the only mourner in attendance. She sits in the front row, an aisle seat, and her hand dangling down is in a fist. A small drip of blood pours out from her nails in her palm. She gets up and approaches the casket and lies down on the floor next to it. She takes the arm of a large flower arrangement and drapes it over her breast just like she did with Michael's hand in 1957. Joni closes her eyes contentedly. The clock on the wall ticks all the way around to 9:09 and 59 seconds. but then it stops. It stops 1 second shy of 9:10 p.m.